right, let's do the Daily Mail now. And good news for people who think the rents in London are a bit too low, Lewis.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. They've just released this report. It was done by Rightmove, and it says that the average rents outside of London is about £1,200 a month to rent a flat, and inside London it's £2,500 a month, which means that people are willing to pay 2.5 times as much to live in London, because there's the perception that London is better than it is. And this is just one more inflation story which was caused by lockdown.
I see what you mean. I mean, it has got absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm just debating whether to... I've got this weird thing where I own a small percentage of a flat, and you get into the situation... I had a leak the other day, and I'm calling them up to fix it, and they're going, no, it's not our responsibility.
Oh, of course.
It's the communal boiler people. And they go, it's not ours. It's the person who makes the heat interface unit. They go, it's not ours. And I went round and round, so I was like... They checkmated me until it can't be fixed. I'm like, and I just thought, I might just rent again, because then at least someone has to come round. But it's so competitive now, isn't it, Paul? And it's so expensive. And people are like even writing CVs to get into flats. We covered the other day. Because the rental market, the supply and demand is all off.
Yeah. Your situation, by the way, it sounds like nobody can legally fix your problem, which is much more of a worry, isn't it? Like, you couldn't go and pay for it because it isn't your responsibility. It just happens to be no one else's.
Who would I even pay? And they couldn't even tell me who I would even pay. It's insanity.
What's really interesting about this, if you look in percentages, the average salary in London's about 35k. It's less by a similar proportional percentage outside of London, But it both works out to be about 90-odd% of the average rent. So at 35k, you're taking home about £2.5 grand, right? If your rent's £2.5 grand, what else are you going to do? It's just preposterous. This is why you've got middle earners sharing houses and accommodation in central London. Because you know, I once stayed in a house share with lots of middle earners in Canada Water about 5 or 6 years ago, and any one of those people could have afforded to rent or probably buy a house outside of London, but that's not even possible anymore. It's just complete madness. This sounds like the end of times, the end of an empire.
No, it isn't that. It isn't that. It's the problem with Britain. It's unbelievably centralised. Number one. It's the centralisation. Everything is in London.
Everyone take a drink every time Lewis says centralised tonight.
And I'm going to tell you something to the people out there, because we got a lot of people who are watching this who do not live in London. London sucks the life out of this country.
Well, I see what you mean.
And I live in London, and I love London, so don't hate me.
We've got a big problem with building enough houses. That's
no, that is not the reason why.
It's Immigration?
I guarantee you,
centralisation of everything.
If they move the government offices, it's cheap. There are places that are dirt cheap. Doncaster and Burnley and Barnsley and Barnsley.
Barnsley could be a place. I don't know if it is.
You were close. Right. One didn't exist. And Hobbiton and But yeah, OK, we'll move on. And sorry to bring up my leak thing, guys. I'm so angry about it. Basically, I was on hold with the company that manages the building so long, I actually worked out the chords to the hold music. That's a true story.